You would have never guessed it, but Black Belt on the Sega Master System is actually based on one of the most brutal and violent martial art animes for its time, Hokuto no Ken, or better known to us foreigners as Fist of the North Star. But putting aside all that, this is your standard scrolling action game. Moving from left to right and destroying anything that gets into your path was a tried and true basic recipe for success in the 80s. Basic yes, simple yes, easy hell no. What sets Black Belt apart from its other contemporaries like Kung Fu or Renegade is its drastic shift from side-scrolling action game to a Street Fighter-esque one-on-one fighter during the boss sections. And these sections can be absolutely brutal if you don't know what you're doing. Much like the anime, finding and exploiting your enemy's weaknesses is key to victory. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. The story of the game has us in control of Ricky, our white meat babyface with a heart of gold and fists of iron. His Japanese girlfriend, Kyoko, has been kidnapped by your rival, Wang. Yeah, Wang's gang has taken your girl, and you need to fight his personal army to get her back. Much like Kung Fu and Russian Attack on the NES, this is one of those games where you push up to jump, and you have a small assortment of martial art moves to pull off. You can punch, kick, sweep, jump kick, low punch, and perform a super jump by hitting down and up quickly. All of these moves feel good and respond quick, and your enemies explode after contact, which is pretty dang cool. Throughout the game, you'll notice two power-ups floating around the top of the screen. The first one is a health power-up that'll refill some of our energy. The second is a symbol that grants us 9 free hits, meaning the next 9 blows won't deplete our energy. If you're expecting this to carry over to boss battles, you're sadly mistaken. This is Black Belt after all. I mentioned before the bosses can be downright unfair if you don't know which attack to use or what pattern to follow. This is probably the most frustrating part of the game. Even the first level boss nearly made me rage quit after numerous attempts went awry. I would stick around to the end of my video for some pro tips on how to defeat each one if you're curious. Musically, you only get a few tracks. It's not grating on the ear, so it gets a pass from me. However, the little jingle that plays between the stages, I really dig. I really like that one because it's just catchy as hell. Graphically, all the character sprites look good. Ricky is clad in a white gi, but I must admit, his more Road Warrior blue attire looks sharper on the Mark III version. During the boss fights, things look a lot more interesting. The sprites are much bigger and the bosses all look unique and cool. And while the entire game was given a graphical overhaul to mask the Hokuto no Ken references, it still stands on its own as a good-looking game. Hell, I'd argue the backgrounds look even better than the sprites. Fighting in temple courtyards at the waterfront with the cityscape behind you, it just all looks great. So yeah, from this review, there's really nothing wrong with the game except its difficulty. And once you know the patterns, the game becomes incredibly fun to play. Here's some pro tips I've devised that will help you on your way to give the boot to Black Belt. You start the game with 3 lives. You can get an extra life at 100,000 and 300,000 points respectively, so it's not really that hard to reach those goals, so take advantage of that. Also, take special note that there are no continues in this game. If you expect to beat this game, you're gonna have to do it all in one run. To stop the first level boss, Ryu, I use a jump kick and standing punch combo. You'll close in and do a little damage to Ryu with the kick, but the punch will push the boss back, leaving him out of range for his counters. Level 2, we're up against Eagle. His boomerangs can be a pain, but staying close to him is key. Rush him at the beginning and close the distance. Hit him with the standing punch and follow up with the sweep. You can catch him in a loop too. As he winds up for a punch, that's your cue to counter with one of your own. This will push him back and he'll attempt another one. Rinse and repeat here. Level 3's Sumo Champ can be daunting at first. He'll always start with a charge across the screen. If you stay too far back, he'll charge you again. Close in, but stay about a character length away as he does his sumo slaps. Now jump kick him and back off. Repeat this process until he says sayonara. Level 4 has the ominous Oni. He seems nearly unbeatable as he dodges and counterattacks everything you do. The trick is to attack him just after he throws a punch. It's a small window and the timing has to be exact. But he's actually one of the easier bosses when you get it right. Level 5 houses the toughest boss in the game to me, Rita. You must hit her in the correct order to do any damage whatsoever. Otherwise, she'll just shrug off any hits. Here's the correct order: jump kick, standing punch, low punch, and sweep. In order to finish her off, you must jump kick her in the face as she does her dive kick in the air. This is the toughest part, so most of our extra lives will be spent here. The final boss, Wang, is a total joke. Crouch in the lower left corner of the stage. Wait there until he jumps. He'll try to go behind you and then mash low punch until his health is low. Finish him with a standing punch to win back your girlfriend Kyoko. All in all, Black Belt is a solid little action game. It's cheap too, so if you find it in the wild, give this reworked Fist of the North Star game a try. Thanks for watching, and for those about to retro, we salute you. Take care.